What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Clearly Distorted podcast, where we discuss our clearly thought out ideas shared through our distorted lenses. We cover the week's trending topics, ranging from social issues, sports, politics, news, and so much more. I am Damian, aka the Devil's Advocate. He is Julian, aka the Morning and Evening Star, aka
Mr. Enigmatic.
Mr. Enigmatic. God damn.
And you know what, Dame? I got another one I need to add to the name.
No.
Yes.
I refuse.
No, listen.
I barely remember all it is.
Julian, aka the Morning and Evening Star, aka Mr. Enigmatic, aka the whole landscape.
Whole landscape.
The whole landscape. The goal is to have 5 names by the time we set the sail on the podcast.
5.
Whenever that years from now. The goal is to have 5.
All right.
What I'm thinking is maybe I can get you to record it one time and put some reverb on it.
Yeah.
Fucking crowds.
You know,
what do y'all think? And then we can just play that so he don't have to say it all the time.
Well, it's funny you say that because I had that idea or a similar idea.
Yeah.
For just the intro period where we would record it, make it fancy and all of that. And then that would be, the intro. But I thought that would be something we can do when we come back from the break.
Great segue, because this is the last episode before we go into our break.
Right.
So, Dean, you want to tell them a little bit about the break, or would you like to go over how this episode is going to go?
Yeah, I guess we can discuss both things. Right. So basically, we're going to take the month of June off. All of us are traveling. We're going to be all over the damn globe. Logistically impossible to maintain the podcast. And so we're going to take a break. We'll be back top of July.
And your boy needs a break. Editing break, at least. But anyway.
Unless something crazy pops off or something that cannot be ignored, or we just get bored one day and we want to jump on and have some fun, we'll drop some short clips for you. But other than that,
if something crazy happens, or something in the playoffs is something we want to talk about, we'll definitely jump on here. And it won't be a full podcast, but in the month of June you'll see us again, I'm sure. So no worries there. Don't run away. We're coming back.
We'll be back.
We'll be here. But for this episode, again, this is the start of that little kind of logistic issues that we're having as far as travel and things going on. So I'm actually going away for a little bit, going to my daughter's graduation. So Dame and I getting here a little bit earlier, and we're going to record, some of the podcasts. And then later on in this episode, you'll see Patricia and Dame together doing the same thing. And then I'll be back again later on. We'll be talking about the NBA stuff. So it's a little tricky, but we got it worked out. Glad you're joining us for this show.
The things we do to do this for you.
You guys have no idea.
It's work, man. Congratulations on the graduation, by the way. I'm sure you're proud.
I am. I'm super proud. I have 2 already graduated. This is the 3rd one, and now my 4th will be in hopefully next year. So, or hopefully, next year. So, it's amazing, but they grow fast, man. I would have never thought this even possible. Like, when you see them so young, you don't think about, when they're babies, you don't think about graduation and jobs and cars.
Listen, we just I was just having this conversation earlier today, actually. friend of ours shared a picture of all of our kids from like 10 years ago. Like they're like babies laying, all of them are laying on it. It must have been like Christmas or something. We were all together. Like all the kids are like under blankets in the couch, sucking thumbs. Like some of them are that young. Some of those kids in the picture now have kids. So like
It's
our
amazing, right?
babies are having babies. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hard adjustment to just accept. I don't know.
No,
It's weird.
it totally is. And it's weird because for them, that's their whole lives, right? But for us, that's fucking yesterday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's literally like I remember that day. I remember details about that day. Things that, for them, they might remember if how much candy they had or,
Right.
whatever, but it's weird. It's really weird, but that's life, man.
Just recently, we few weeks ago, we had a little get together at the house with some of the friends. Had a little game night or whatever, and I got cursed out by one of my friends. Not cursed out, but she was a little bothered. One of my friend's daughters was like, next time y'all need to invite me. And it's like it's hard. She's a full blown adult now with her own children, right? But in my mind, she's still my friend's daughter. Like I don't think, to include her in the adult activities, though she is an adult. But it's a hard transition to make. When I told her like that, she was like, I understand, but y'all need to realize I'm an adult now. She wants to be included.
Ooh. Mm. Somebody
And she's
somebody
not the
put you
only
on
one.
notice, yeah.
It's all of them, but it's, we got a batch of kids who are not kids anymore.
You know what though? You're in a different phase than she is, and you need to put her in her place too. You need to be like, hey,
Nah.
you're a rookie in this adulthood. You know what I'm saying? Like
She think
I'm a seasoned veteran here. You know what I'm
yeah, but
saying?
they got to get the introduction into the into the
You the
group.
rookie. You got to carry the bags. You got to earn this here. That's how you got to do it, man.
I understood what she meant. I felt it.
Nah, of course, yeah.
But
I
yeah.
mean, I sort of went through it at the wedding that I just recently went to. A lot of my older cousins were there, and it wasn't the same situation because I really like looked up to these people growing up, and to them I was just little cuz. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And I think for them it was a little bit of a shell shock. I'm here, I'm
Full
grays, you know
grown,
what I'm
gray
saying?
beard and
And
shit. Yeah.
yeah, but I've been embracing this for years now, but the gray, but it's yeah, it really is just growing up is crazy. It's funny.
That is. It's
And the older you get, the faster it goes.
yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so yeah, the whole landscape. Could you try it on?
try what on?
AKA the whole landscape.
Man, I barely can remember the shit you got going on now.
That's what I'm saying. Try
Let's
it
let's
on. Try it on.
let's 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 listen. Let's bring that back when we bring it back.
When you try it on, in fact, do me a favor. We're friends, right, Dame?
Of course.
All right. So when you take your shower, night or whenever, I want you to
watch yourself.
I want you to do this naked. Listen to me. I want you to be pure. And I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to say the whole landscape.
Yeah.
Can you do that for me?
You, sir, are out of control. You need to control yourself.
I've been told that, but and you got to do the movement too. You got to be like the whole landscape. Yeah, you got it, man. So
we'll save that for the comeback.
I'm looking forward to the report on that.
We'll have fun on that.
Maybe even a video.
No.
Nah, you keep the video.
Relax.
Video. Anyway,
I'm gonna have to bring back the shower god,
huh? It's never gonna go away. Totally.
I mean, I kind of, dropped it for the sake of the devil's advocate because I didn't want to overdo it. But you're trying to have 5. Fuck it, I'm bringing it back.
Well, it's funny. Speaking of older cousins, if for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, that was one of his original AKAs to start the show, was the shower god. Now he's just the devil's advocate. But my cousin Samantha just checked out our first episode, or our last episode, for the first time, and she enjoyed it. So she was one of my older cousins, but she's one I'm close to. She's probably my closest cousin, so she is my closest cousin. So just because of COVID and different things, we've lost a little bit of touch, but that's now back in full effect. And
that's dope, man.
Yeah, so yeah, but
welcome to the podcast, Samantha.
Yeah, Sam, glad you're watching. Yeah, but anyway, and my older sister too, she's been watching it. Can't forget Athena. I love you. And
Athena.
Yeah. So yeah, if you didn't know, my older sister, her name is Athena. And my younger sister is named Lola. We don't call her real name isn't Lola.
Okay.
Her middle name is Dolores, so we call her Lola. But
she's the wild one. That's just the wild bunch.
Like I don't know. I like to think now we're very calm and relaxed, and I know I am. I go down easy.
I don't know. That shit. Yo.
That didn't sound right. It did not sound right, but you know what I'm saying. Man, we do got some stuff. In particular, I think we're gonna go into the NBA.
Yeah.
And then we'll be doing our music and movie recommendations. We do have an RRP as well, and I'm sure you'll be doing the Quote of the Daym with Patricia. So I think we can get started.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Clearly Distorted Podcast. I am Damian, aka the Devil's Advocate. She's Patricia, aka she ain't all there. And this week, episode 32, we're going to be discussing the attack in the NYC subway, chokehold, Target Pride merchandise, Memorial Day, because it's often confused with Veterans Day. And
you mean Memorial Day is not barbecue day?
Right. And we're going to get into some NBA topics, the Eastern Conference Finals, what's going on there. Morant Health and Welfare Check, and LeBron traded. Anyway, as you can see, there's only two of us, but there's actually three of us. Had some scheduling challenges today, so I recorded a little earlier with Julian, and now here we are with Patricia, and that kind of leads us into something else we need to discuss. Is because of logistics and the scheduling challenges throughout the month of June, apparently we're all taking vacations at different times, so we decided to take the month off of June, and we will be back in July. So in the meantime, something big happens or something we absolutely have to talk about, we might jump in, but there won't be any full podcast. Maybe a 20-minute something here or there, who knows. Maybe we'll get together and do a 20 questions if we can. Just to have a little fun. But
you mean with the spouses, right?
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
I see.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. But anyway, that's just a heads up of what's going on. Anyway, Patricia, how have you been? What's going on with you?
I've been good. My kids are still in school because Turkey doesn't finish until like the actual summer starts. And so they're still in school, but this week has been the best week weather-wise because we've been in the 40s and low 50s forever and a day. And today we were in the 60s, so everybody was out. It felt good. We went to a really nice mall. and just enjoying our day.
Saw the pictures. Your mall looks like a damn amusement park. It's crazy.
It has an amusement park. It has a legit roller coaster, and the malls here are insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes the Mall of
Americans have
America
no
look.
clue. Yeah.
No, it makes the Mall of America look like. Did you watch Stranger Things?
No.
Okay,
But I'm
so
familiar
if
with
you
the
watch,
Mall of America.
okay, so if you watch Stranger Things, and it's based like in the 1980s, I think. I mean, that's how the malls in the US are compared to these malls here. Yeah. I haven't been to a mall, and there's probably like it. Let me tell you about Turkey. Turkey has gazillion restaurants because the city alone, the Istanbul alone, has around 20 million people
Huge
living.
population.
That's not counting
the rest of the country.
No. It's 20 people living here. It's not counting tourists. So
20
the
million.
one thing that 20 million. The one thing that you will find, what did I say?
20 people.
Oh no, 20, yeah. 20 million people. So the one thing that you will find here, it's restaurants. There's just, I don't even know how many restaurants, but restaurants, coffee places, hair salons, and malls.
That's right. We were talking about that once, where you're saying like the competitive coffee chains would literally be next door to each other,
next to each other,
across the
like
street,
really next to each other. It's very common to see one Starbucks here, and then you walk 4 shops down, and there's going to be another Starbucks there because we cannot have enough Starbucks or Gloria Jeans, or there's just like a lot of coffee. But the malls here, I don't think I have walked into a mall that is at least four floors, and that would be a small mall.
Yeah.
Because malls here are 6, 7, 8, 10 feet. I mean, 10 floors, and it just has everything. I mean, the play area for kids, roller coasters and everything inside, zip lining inside the malls. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've been to a mall in Kuwait that had ice skating rinks and bowling alleys on the upper floors.
Yeah. That's
insane.
I think most of the malls that I've been to have bowling alleys. And like my kids got into a Ferris wheel today. My girls got into a Ferris wheel today inside the mall.
Crazy.
Or they also have from the top floor, they'll have a slide that goes all the way down to the bottom floor.
Holy
and
shit.
Then you get on a lift, and then you go up the escalator, because usually the parents are either on the top or bottom.
Right.
I
was gonna say, as a family, how do you work that shit out?
There is 2 malls that I have been to that have full-blown aquariums that you can do scuba diving in. You can swim with the sharks, because my husband has done it.
That's crazy. So like going to the mall is like a thing. That's an event.
Yeah.
That's not people just go, I'm gonna go shopping. Now you're going to the mall. That's a day. Yeah.
I mean, we spent 6 hours at the mall.
That's insane.
And we did not even see the whole mall. We didn't even go into I
didn't even hit the whole amusement park.
Yeah, no, we didn't, because we're like, no. But yeah, I mean, you can just do whatever you want at the mall. There's a mall that you can just do whatever. If you want to go ice skating, roller skating, they have these huge like transformer robots, and you get inside, and then you like fight with the other robots, like mechanical things. There's like a lot. It is amazing. And we're spoiled here.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Spoiled here.
So you survived an election?
Not yet. Well, I did. I survived the one election, and it went nowhere, because in order to win, you have to have 50 plus 1. So the current president had 49%. Then there was a third party, and he had 5%, and then the opposition had 46. I think it was something like that. I can't remember.
Wow. So it's close.
It was okay. So wait a minute, because I thought Erdogan, which is the current president,
right.
they had been doing so many. Okay, first of all, he's been in power for like 20
years. Yeah.
So I don't know much about politics here, but from what I get, it's like it's a Trump type of situation. Like the people that love Erdogan and they will give everything for him, or
they hate him.
They hate him like we hate Trump, or possibly more, But to put into perspective, so I thought, because pretty much everybody that I know, so this is what I was telling my husband, everybody that I know is going to vote for the opposition, right? And my husband's like, well, I don't know. The Erdogan people, they're quiet, or they will tell you, oh yeah, I'm voting for this one and I'm not going to vote for Erdogan, right? So this campaign has been saying they're going to win by 6 points because nobody wants Erdogan after the earthquake, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 this and that. But came election time, and election time here, you vote the same day, and then they close the polls, I think, at 5. And prior elections, they were not allowed to give updates. It was just like, you're going to wait until 9:00 and they're going to tell you at 9:00. But this year they let, like in the US, they'll give updates or whatever. So 28 million people voted for Erdogan and 26 million people voted for the opposition. So my husband, because I don't know anything about politics here, he said him losing, it's almost like him winning, because the other guy that took 5%, it's a religious party as well. So he took those votes from Erdogan, which will probably go to Erdogan, right? So then last week, the candidate ended up saying he endorses Erdogan. So
the one of the 5%?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that Sunday, Mateen's like, no, we're gonna go to the second round, but this is almost like a 99.9% that Erdogan will win because he's gonna get those votes. And then the guy says he's endorsing Erdogan because he doesn't want the Kemal, whatever his name is. So I don't know. So it was grim. Like the people that were voting for the opposition, they had like, black, on my Instagram stories, everybody was just like so sad and everything. But the one thing is that it shocked a lot of people how many people still support Erdogan. I mean, he got 28 million votes. And over here in Turkey, it's popular.
I mean, obviously, what the hell do I know? But I'm more surprised that the competitor got 46%. That's really close.
Yeah. So the competitor, the opposition, he's promising to get all of the Syrians out of the country. Like his slogan, it's literally him, and it says, all the Syrians will get kicked out. Like he's promising to get all of the people that came in. So of course you have like all these Turkish people that want, the Syrians that came here as refugees, they want them out, but I guess not more than what Erdogan
doesn't sound like either one of them are great options.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm thinking if like I'm putting myself in the shoe of someone that doesn't like that party, and to have them for 20 years, that's a whole lifetime. There's kids that have not known anything but being under Erdogan's ruling. And, he's obviously conservative and religious, so a lot of the things that he does, the opposition doesn't like, and they want the opposition wants to be more westernized. And I'm like, have y'all been to the West?
May not necessarily be a great thing.
I don't know.
Oh, it sounds interesting anyway. Something to keep an eye on.
So tomorrow we'll know for sure.
Oh, tomorrow, okay.
Tomorrow we'll know for sure. And over here, it's popular vote. There's no such thing as like electoral college vote or anything.
How it should be.
Yeah. So we'll see.
A true democratic election. Sounds like.
Unless they're cheating.
Unless they are cheating. sounds like Erdogan has his hands around the neck of Turkey and will probably remain
5 more years
in power for 5 more years. And speaking of chokeholds, like how I did that.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know,
I wish we would have been talking about a different kind of chokehold.
Hey.
I don't like this kind. Okay, let me take it serious. Let me be serious. And serious.
So I think we've briefly mentioned it, but we really haven't talked about it. You know, the man that was murdered on the subway in New York was choked out, you know, begging for his life. But it was a homeless man, for those who haven't heard about it, for those who don't know, a homeless man by the name of Jordan Neely, who has a history of violence on the subway and has a history of mental illness. But he got on the train and was screaming, "I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I don't care about dying, and I don't care if I spend life in jail." You know, just carrying on screaming. Didn't touch anyone, didn't harm anyone in any way, was just speaking very aggressively. And while this was going on, Daniel Perry, who is a 24-year-old former Marine, just comes from behind him, puts him in a chokehold, wraps his body around him, and brings him down to the ground, and literally is choking him for like 15 minutes while 2 other people are there holding the guy's arms. And they're telling him to calm down, you know, stop fighting. But if you can't breathe, what do you expect someone to do? So
and 1 second, and from what I saw in the video, even at a certain point, the guy wasn't struggling, and they're telling the bystanders are telling him, "You're gonna kill him." Yeah. Is it worth catching a case over this? Like, he's not struggling anymore, but he was just like a boa constrictor, like he would not let go.
You know, I can see if he, you know, went at somebody or tried to harm somebody. I'm all for intervening and, you know, protecting life. It didn't even require, because he wasn't by himself. He jumped on the guy's back, right? You know, choking him out. And then 2 other people were helping him hold him down. So at that point, there's really even no reason to be choking him.
Right.
But, you know, Jordan saying, "I can't breathe," fighting for his life, and he eventually dies. So just to paint a little bit more of the picture, because we know in certain instances, certain people are granted benefits that others are not. So
white people.
The homeless man.
Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
Oh, sorry.
The homeless man, Jordan Neely, is a black man, 30 years old. And the person who choked him to death, his name is Daniel Penny. He was 24-year-old former Marine, like I mentioned. And of course, he was white. So after all the melee is over and done with, there's a dead man laying on the floor of a subway car. They just questioned him and he went home. A few weeks later, 2 weeks later, they decided to charge him with manslaughter. And, you know, they just let him, you know, come turn himself in whenever he felt like it. Turns himself in.
No warrant for his arrest, nothing. It's like, come in whenever you want to.
Yeah, no knocking on the door, no, you know, none of that. You know, putting him in handcuffs and, you know, dragging him into the station. Mr. Neely, you know, just, you know, get your things in order. And I'm sorry, not Neely, Mr. Penny, get your things in order. And, you know, as soon as you can, just please come turn yourself in.
You know, let me stop you there for a second. I know that you're being facetious with what you're seeing in this case. However, did you see that back and forth social media comment that a police station was having with somebody that had a warrant for his arrest? And they're like, whenever you feel like coming in, come in. Like, it was like all over social media. Like, the police station, the police legit account was having a back and forth with the guy that he's like, you need to turn yourself in. And they're like, take your time, do what you have to do, get your things in order, and then come back in. And then he didn't. And he's like, hello, we're waiting for you. Do we have to go get you? And then eventually the guy turned himself in. But that was a literal true story. So I know that you're trying to be funny as if this would never happen, but it's actually happened. So go ahead.
Did this guy kill somebody?
I can't remember. Okay. It doesn't matter.
I think it matters. I think if you have taken someone's life, you could be deemed as a threat or harmful.
Oh no! I thought you were asking me if the guy from social media had killed someone. I'm saying it shouldn't matter. Like, if they're looking for him, they should not have a conversation back and forth on social media.
Yeah,
waiting for him, inviting him, come on down.
So, like I said, he was just questioned and released, and then 2 weeks later, they decided to charge him, and he turned himself in. He was detained for a few hours, the reports say, got $100,000 bond, which means you just had to put up $10,000, some collateral. And people are looking at him like he's some sort of, vigilante hero. His lawyer says he's acting in self-defense when he literally attacked the man from behind. So I don't understand how that's self-defense. And then you got, people like Kid Rock, who made huge contribution to his legal defense. And Florida's mayor DeSantis called him a good Samaritan and urged the nation to show Penny that America's got his back. So what does that say? What's the message there?
What does it say? It says to me that Black Lives Matter.
Or do they?
Because, well, they don't like that slogan, right? They're like, oh, everybody matters, this and that and the other. But I want to tell the people that I was reading I was reading an article about it.
And you were confused.
I was confused because I'm reading about the guy that killed someone, and the whole entire piece is about the victim, because he was actually a victim, the victim's, rap sheet, and almost like excusing why he, like, almost justifying his death,
like he deserved to die.
Like he deserved to die, as if this person knew, like he Googled him and he's like, oh no, this guy has done A, B, C, D.
Right.
So why is it that this man that clearly, it's documented that he has mental health issues, why does he deserve to die? But when a mass shooter has health issues, it's, he committed this crime because he had health issues, and it's almost like, boo-hoo, poor him. But this guy has mental issues, and let's back up the person that killed him for no reason. I mean, I think to myself, if I was sitting in that train, I probably would be scared.
Yeah. Guy comes on yelling, I'm hungry and I ain't taking no for an answer. Yeah.
I would be terrified, and I wouldn't be, I know some people will be terrified because the guy is Black. I wouldn't be terrified because the guy is Black. I would be terrified because I'm like, does he have a gun? Does he have a knife?
Right.
Because in the US, it's very prevalent to just mass shooting over nothing, right? So I can see this guy thinking, oh, let me do something about it. But I don't know, do something about it, but maybe try to talk. But then I'm putting myself in his shoes. Maybe he's thinking, oh, maybe he has a gun or a weapon or whatever. But man, if you have him pinned down and there's 2 people standing over him, check to see if he has any weapons, and then remove yourself from him. Like, what is the point?
At least the chokehold.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, take, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Even people are telling him, you're going to kill him, and he's just not letting go. So, and then he gets like red carpet treatment and almost like the key to the United States.
I think he has. There's a GoFundMe for him, which is where this was all tallied. I think his GoFundMe has reached over $1 million, and they've created one for the defense of Neely as well, and I think it's only reached 100,000. So, again, like, these are like dog whistles. These are clear.
I mean, it's history just keeps repeating itself, and it keeps showing us how little value Black and brown lives are in the eyes of not only the government, but society in the United States. And worldwide, actually, if I want to be more.
And I'm a little disappointed with Adams, who is the mayor of the city, because it seems like he's taking more of a political stance, and he's just not. He made a public statement, but his public statement was, he took the opportunity to talk about the need of more treatment for those with mental health issues, which, fine, that's something that's needed in the city, but I feel like as the mayor of that city, he should have been addressing the situation at hand more than talking about preventing others from happening. At this point, let this finish, let the outcome be what it is, and then you could talk about how the city can be improved, and things that we can do to prevent this. But his initial statement was this. I felt it was an inappropriate.
I wish actually Julian was here, because you know how I joke about the Kardashians, and he's like, who are they? What do they do? They're nothing. They're nobodies. Right. I bet you if Kim got on this thing and just mentioned this guy's story, his GoFundMe will skyrocket.
No, you're probably
right.
why.
I am 100% right.
Well, in Julian's defense, when he says they're nobody, he acknowledges their influence. But when he says that, it's just as far as their accomplishments. What do they actually do? Who are they really? They're nobody. That's, I believe, his argument.
Really? You do? I mean, she's going to school to be a lawyer, and she's done a lot, actually.
But this is now. This is after 15 years of, stardom for, the things she's known for aren't things anybody would really.
So what? So if you turn around and do like a lot of good, you're still a nobody?
She's not known for that. She could become a lawyer and be the greatest lawyer. You know what I'm saying?
But let me tell you something. She's not known for that to us, because we old. But to younger people, no, what do we cut it out? But to younger people that don't know about the sex tape or don't know Kim from that era, they see somebody like a lawyer and this, and like wanting to be a lawyer and an activist and this, that, and the other.
Really?
But if they go, I would think so. I don't think that a lot of people know about, maybe they know about her sex tape, but they don't know like how she became or how it was before. I'm telling you, that's what I had started watching the first episodes of the original Kardashian show, and it is night to day to what it is now. I mean, they were like really like monkeys in a circus. It was a shit show. And now they're also sleek and polished, but at least she's put her things to good use, I guess.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
but going back to this case, if she even mentions it, I know that there's a lot of I'm going to shoot her a message.
I hope she responds to you, or at least I hope she sees your message and does something about it. It's funny when you said that the show went from night to day. I swear the first thing that I thought about was her father went from, her stepfather went from her stepfather to her stepmother. So, which can also be a perfect segue to our next topic.
You're just like batting them out the park.
So Target is recognizing and celebrating Pride Month. And so when you enter their store, you see rainbows everywhere and pride this and pride that. And there are a lot of people who are not happy about this, tearing down signs, threatening employees. You know, when it's March and you walk in Target or any other store, the whole fucking store is green and fucking Lucky Charms everywhere. And I don't get upset because they're celebrating Irish pride. You know, in April, I don't get upset that there's pastel colors over there all over the damn place and celebrating, you know, made up Christian holidays. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, you don't. So you mean to tell me that you don't like
I don't go in and destroy
break the
signs
Christmas
and
balls or
right.
throw the snowmans because they're celebrating Christmas?
Right,
You don't
right.
do that?
No, and
Why
you know,
not?
in December when it's all, you know, red and green and you know, we're promoting these pagan rituals. I don't get upset and destroy store displays.
You don't kick the reindeer out of the way?
Absolutely not. You know, I just keep walking, go get what I came to get and get out of there. Fuck is wrong with these entitled people?
Well,
it's crazy.
I was just thinking about, you know, like people, it's almost like they look for an excuse to just be mad at life
or create one.
Right.
Because a lot of the hoopla around this whole Target shit is so they have this huge display and had been in a lot of the front of the stores. You walk in, you see it, and their clothing and their swimsuits. One of the swimsuits was designed for transgender women who have not completed the transition. And the swimsuit is designed in a way to...
It has a banana hammock.
I don't know. The hammock presents it. This bathing suit hides it.
Covers. Okay. Well, it has a little...
Maybe the hammock is any. I don't know how it works.
Any hammock. So actually, the people that get offended by this seeing... But wait, hold on. The people that get offended by seeing a man in a woman's bathing suit and you can see the junk, they should be very appreciative of this bathing suit because it tucks it in.
Well, that wasn't the complete issue. What was going around social media is that this bathing suit was also being sold to children.
Of course. Of course.
And obviously that wasn't the case. Well, I don't say obvious because I'm sure millions of people saw shit all over social media and believe that was the case because they saw it on social media. But according to the Associated Press and other people who have investigated it, even on their websites, these swimming suits were not sold in children's sizes. They do have some children clothing in the Pride section, but even the children's clothing, mostly just rainbow colors. So, you know, out on the street, you see someone in a rainbow color, you're not going to automatically think, oh my God, you know, it's kids wearing rainbow shit. There were onesies that said,
being proud,
like, you know, you say it quickly and then it's like being proud. There was another one that said just be you and feel love. Like if someone gets offended by that, like I don't
I mean, you are offended by a rain fucking bow. I see a rainbow and I get so happy. The people that get offended by a fucking rainbow are the same people that get mad if we are offended about the Confederate flag. Yeah. And if you put those two fuckers next to each other, the rainbow is a prettier one. And sparkle some glitter, I'm in.
I gotta give a shout out to Jolie. She said, are they having a hissy fit and calling the NOAA when they see rainbows in the sky?
No, they're not calling anyone. They're shooting at the sky with their weapons. Listen, in regards to the onesies, So fucking what? You know, there's same-sex parents, and if they want to put their baby in a rainbow onesie because they are proud for being who they are, and they are proud to being in a relationship, in a good, healthy relationship, and they're bringing up a child and this and that and the other, why do people care so much?
So my thing
I don't
is,
understand.
yeah, I don't understand why people are worried about what other people do in their lives at all. But the thing with this is because what they're trying to say is they're trying to indoctrinate children into this lifestyle, and they're trying to cater to children. If that same rainbow outfit was in another section, it would not be an issue. If you are out at a park and you see a kid has rainbow colored outfit on, you're not thinking that, you know, they're promoting LGBTQ, you know, way of life or whatever. It's a kid in a fucking rainbow outfit.
It's an indoctrination when it's convenient. If you have a family card with rainbows and glitter and boa feathers, I don't know, it's offensive. But if you have a Christmas card with your AK-47 and all of your little kids holding it, it's Second Amendment. You know, it's just like, you know, in Spanish we say, o te peina o te hace rolo. Like, which one is it? Figure it out. Are we all doing the same thing, or is it just whenever we want it? I was thinking I was thinking actually today, because obviously I'm Muslim and my social media is public, and I post a lot of things. I post a lot of things like, you know, people drinking and like funny stuff, right? I tend not to get political or whatever. And I have I show my nails, you know, like whatever. And I have so many comments like, if you're Muslim, you should not be wearing your, you know, like fake nails, because, you know, in order to pray, you cannot pray with the nails. Or, you know, if you're Muslim, why are you not covered? If you're Muslim, you should not be, you know, using music in your, you know, in your social media, this and that and the other, right? So I was thinking, like, I'm like, why are people so bothered? Like, you know, might worry about yourself. Not, you know, religious people do this too. Like, if I see something that, okay, for example, these type of topics, I'm Muslim, but before I was Muslim, I'm still me, you know,
Right.
I'm still me. And I hate when religions, because at the end of the day, they use Christianity, right, to start, you know, to come for these people in America. They use Christianity, and obviously in other countries that use Islam or whatever. But to me, it's like, not everybody has the same religion. Not everybody, you know, knows the same. Not everybody has the same beliefs. And we just need to mind our own business. You know, I see on social media, I have friends that are Muslim and they wear hijab, and they come for them because they're wearing makeup and, you know, this or that and the other. And it's like, or they will talk, like I've seen, like they'll talk about, like they'll talk about uh gay people, trans people, whatever. And it's like, oh, you know, they're committing a sin. Well, I mean, maybe in my eyes, they're committing a sin, but in their eyes, they're not the same religion. They don't have the same belief. Just let people do what they want to do with their own lives. I mean,
Everybody, we know I'm not a religious person, but in religious terms, everybody sins. So you can't judge one person's sin because they sin differently from you, right?
Yeah,
And as far as I'm aware, only God can judge.
exactly.
So just keep your shit to yourself, because nobody cares what the fuck you think.
For real. I mean, and I don't know why they're acting like homosexuality is like spreading worse than corona. Like, you know, it's not. There's, yeah, you can indoctrinate people, but I mean, I think we all have,
Yeah, like the NRA does.
yeah, we all have family members that are homosexuals. And are all the cousins homosexual? Are all the aunts and uncles homosexual? Like, I don't understand. Like, this gets way more attention than someone every week or every month massacring. Is that how you say it in English?
Yes.
Kids. Like, I was just reading about the 3-year-old that shot himself because he shot himself with a gun that was sitting on the sofa in his house. And I literally saw it, and I'm like, oh, do I feel bad that a 3-year-old died? 100%. But this is so prevalent in our country. But
it's so common that it's not even shocking anymore.
And that's, and but God forbids that, I don't know, Johnny Susie wants to wear a dress and sing while you're eating your meal, and that's blasphemy.
Yeah, it's right back to the common saying that you said in Spanish. Which way do you want it?
Yeah.
When it comes to guns, it's not the guns, it's the people that hold the guns, right? The guns aren't bad, it's the people. Okay, but then when it comes to books, or when it comes to someone living their life, now it's the book. The book is going to make people gay,
right?
Watching what were we talking about? Watching a drag show is going to make you gay. Like, if that's the case, then it's got to be the gun too. Like, which way do you want it?
Then you definitely should not even have gun freaking shows. The convention centers should not have gun shows. Because
I thought
that's
you meant
indoctrinating.
I thought you meant on TV, but yeah, both.
Oh yeah, no. I'm talking about like these gun shows that you go and you can buy whatever, and like the most crazy person can come and buy all these bullets and all these weapons, and then the next day go and open fire, and then it's like thoughts and prayers again. Like, how many thoughts and prayers are we gonna have? It's gotten, like, especially in Florida. I'm speaking about Florida. It's gotten to the point that the gay community decided to cancel their Pride on the River parade in Tampa because they are scared. They are scared. They are legit scared that somebody's gonna come and open fire. Because that's what DeSantis has created in the state. And listen, I agree. Not everybody has to accept and agree with everything, but when you have Americans that are supposed to be in the greatest country of all cancel events because they're scared,
they don't feel free,
because they don't feel free, they don't feel safe. How is that any different? That the same thing that they criticize about Muslim countries when they're killing homosexuals and hanging them and shooting them, and they're like, oh, they're so barbaric. But when it comes to the United States, no, like, we're protecting the children that continuously get killed at the hands of guns. But we're not gonna talk about that because that doesn't matter. It's this. So we truly are what we criticize the most.
Yeah, that's usually how it is. The things that we hate the most about ourselves, we criticize the most. That's crazy. But what's
and that's another saying in Spanish: El ladrón juzga por su condición. You judge something so much about somebody else that you do yourself. Whether it's a secret or in the open, that's what you do. And that's so sad. It's almost like in 2023, I feel like we're regressing. We are regressing.
In some ways. In other ways, I don't feel like it's a regression or things are getting worse. I just feel like we're seeing it more. Like the cover has been taken off.
Yeah.
So it's been there.
Yeah. Like they're like out in the open. Like now in Florida, if you're riding in the car with someone, you have to be like, let me see your legal papers, let me see your fingerprints, let me see everything. Do you have cavities, do you have this? Like what are we creating? Like what was going on?
Fear. Creating fear.
And they talk about Islamic countries.
It's really what it comes down to. Like, these displays in Target have been going on for almost 10 years. Target, H&M, Walmart have all had these displays every year. Now, every year, obviously, as the acceptance grows, their displays are getting bigger and bigger. So it's probably never been this big. maybe it wasn't the first thing you saw when you walked in the store, but it's been there for the last 10 years. But so
they don't like it because it's in their face type of thing right now.
Well, this is also this year alone, there have been about 500 anti-LGBTQ plus bills that have gone to legislation, which is a number that exceeds by far the previous record. 17 states have restricted or banned gender affirming care for transgender minors. So this is a clear attack. It's just like how Trump blew the whistle and set the dogs on the Capitol on January 6th. It's the same thing. Once DeSantis starts talking about this shit in public, and it's basically saying, here's what we're attacking. Go get it. Sick 'em, boy.
Like, there's the crazy thing is that there's a lot of people out there that really do believe that every school is out there trying to make your kid homosexual. Like the story time with drags. I want to know which school was this. I want to know because I haven't seen a school that's doing drag storytelling. Shit, schools are not even doing storytelling at all.
They just banned a poem.
Yeah.
From schools because one person had a problem with it.
When people ask me, how can you live in Turkey? And I'm like, how can you live in the
America? Yeah.
How do you live in the United States? My husband and I, we are sacrificing our time together because he's like half time over there and half time over here because we're here. But I don't feel safe. I do not feel safe in the US. And plus the malls suck.
Malls suck. Compared to that, I mean, our malls are like maybe like a strip mall, like a Dollar General compared to your shit.
Yeah, no. I mean, even the gas stations, like, of course, you have gas stations that are like, ugh, but a lot of the gas stations, everything is hands-free. Like, of course, like, that? Okay, because I'm going to tell you. So when you walk in, obviously the doors are automatic, whatever. But a lot of the times the bathroom sections are closed off. Like there's a door and you just wave your hand next to the pad and it opens the door to the bathroom hallway. And then when you get to your bathroom, you go like this and that opens that door to that bathroom. And then the door inside opens automatically. And then you wave your hand by the toilet and the new wrapper comes just in case you have kids or whatever. And then of course, you come out, you don't have to flush the toilet, of course. And then everything else is automatic. The water's automatic. The soap is automatic. And a lot of our a lot of our bathrooms here have the Dyson hand thing. So you don't touch anything.
When initially I was thinking about pumping gas and you said hands free. I was like, how do you do that?
Oh, no. Well, you don't pump gas here. They pump it for you.
They have attendants. It's like that in New York, most parts of New York. But in Florida, we don't, it's all self-serve here. Yeah, no, they
pump the gas for you and you go inside to pay. Oh, and let me tell you something.
Jersey, sorry.
Let me tell you something. When you pump your gas here, the government knows where you're pumping gas. Because in order to pump gas, it's registered to your license plate. So every time they pump gas, every time you go to the gas station, they put in your license plate and then they pump gas. They track everything.
I wonder what that's about.
I don't know what that's about, but it has its benefits because if they're looking for a car, they're going to find it because you're going to need gas. And also, I was talking to my friend and she was telling me that her husband said, you can only use Shell gas at the gas station. You cannot go this, there, and the other because we will lose our warranty. And she's like, I don't understand. How can they even know? And I said, because they track it. So I'm assuming that I don't know what kind of car she has. I don't know the brand of car she has, but whatever brand, I'm like, they have an exclusive deal with Shell. And crazy. They know because every time you pump gas, they input your license plate. You know, everything here is through license plate. When I come in my community, I don't have a barcode. It's through my license plate. Like I go in automatically because it recognizes my license plate. What is that called? When you park in garages is the same thing. It's by license plate. Another thing that I wanted to tell you about the malls is that every mall that you go to, they check your trunk and in order to park. And then I don't know, in the US, do they have metal detectors? I can't remember. I can't think of.
In the malls? Yeah. In some malls.
In some malls? Yeah. No, every mall here has metal detectors too. In every entrance, they have metal detectors. A lot of places here have metal detectors. You can't come in with anything. So I feel extra safe at the mall. But yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
that was, and I didn't know that about the gas station, but yeah, they do, because I noticed it because on the receipt it had my driver's license printed.
License plate.
License plate printed, yeah. But it's old school here. That's how it was in Puerto Rico. They not the license plate thing, but they pump your gas, they clean your windows, they make sure everything's okay. And then they don't have they don't have the credit card machine at the pump, but they'll bring it to you if you want to. They'll bring the machine to you, so you don't even have to get out of the car. And if you need your oil change, water, whatever, they do it too.
Damn.
Every single gas station. Yeah, so convenient.
I can't wait to come there. Can't wait to visit.
Come. Actually, I saw in Dubai, and I'm sure I'll see it in Turkey soon. In Dubai now, they bring the gas to you. They pump your gas at your house. Like you call the service and a truck comes and pumps your gas, and they don't upcharge you. It's the same price as the pump. They come to your house.
Wow.
Pump your gas.
I mean, I would think they would charge a little extra for convenience, but
no. That's what Americans think that third world countries.
Right. I mean, they have no idea. I'm telling you. I was the same way until I left the country.
Listen, let me tell you something. The first time I came to Turkey, it was in 2013. And I was like that. I was like, I was telling Mateen, do you guys have camels? And he's like, do you even know where Turkey is? You know, and I'm like, I want to go to the desert. He's like, we're not going to Saudi Arabia. We're not, we're not going to. And then, I had, like when I was so excited that I was coming and I was telling my friends and they're like, oh, you should take shampoo and you should take this and you should take that because you don't know what and in 2013, it was still ahead of the US technology wise. Society wise, we're still backed up. Like kids are still kids and, you
That's
have
not a bad thing.
No. And you have like little girls not exposing themselves, like not exposing themselves, but like everybody's kind of like dressed appropriately. Kids are kids and teenagers are teenagers. You actually see kids here 12, 13 years old running around playing with like toy guns. And then, I mean, a 12 or a 13 playing with a toy gun, running around the park, pew pew.
I saw something today on I think it was Instagram. It might have been Facebook. I don't know. But it was saying kids today have no idea what it is that you're looking at right now. And it was kids back in the day building ramps out of scrap pieces of wood to jump off with their bikes. And that was normal shit that we did. Every kid found all kind of scrap pieces of whatever to build a ramp out of to ride their bike over. Kids today don't even really have bikes that often. Like it's just so different, and it's really hard to understand because it wasn't that long ago. It's not like the transition from when your grandparent was a kid to when you were a kid. It's literally the very next generation. It's drastically different. It's wild.
Yeah. The malls here, there's payphones here. And like out about there's payphones, and in the malls you see payphones and stuff like that. So the other day I was with Khalid and we were going to the bathroom, and we passed like the payphone booths, and I was like, Khalid, do you know what this is? And he's like, no, it's a phone. And then I was like, come on, let's go look at it, right? And he's like, he picks it up and he's like, hello. And he's like, I don't hear anything. I'm like, no, you have to pay. And he's like, why not just he's like, why not you just use your cell phone?
Right.
And who are you gonna call? And I was like, well, you're gonna call you. I was like, well, not everybody has a cell phone, and you just put money and you dial. And he's like, how do you know who to call? And I said, well, if you want to call me, if you want to call, he's like, I don't know your number.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody's number. I don't even know my number. He's like, how am I going to call? Who do I call? And I was telling him, I'm like, back in the day, we've memorized everybody's number. He's like, so you memorize everyone's number? I said, I knew my mom's, my dad, my grandma's, my cousins, my aunt. You just remember. He's like, how can you memorize all those numbers? And I'm like, just like you memorize songs, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But he was blown away. He's like, I would never know who to call.
Listen, you know how sometimes when you're like at Walgreens or the gas station and you have your rewards number and they tell you to put in your phone number, I literally have to think about it. Like I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I only know two phone numbers. I know my mom's cell phone and my wife's cell phone. That's it. Don't ask me anybody else because I have no fucking idea.
That's so funny. Well, listen, I know my husband's cell phone. I know my mom's cell phone, and I know my grandmother's phone number because she's had that number since I can remember.
Right. Yeah.
And and that's it. Everybody else's number, I have no idea who is what. I know my brother-in-law's number. That's because between his number and my husband's number, it's the last number that's different. And I even get that confused sometimes.
I'm
like, what is it? Yeah. But that's funny.
So the NBA, we are now looking at a crazy Eastern Conference, right? So the Nuggets turned around and they defeated the Lakers. Swiftly. And now we were thinking that this was going to be the first time in NBA history that both conferences would sweep. And instead, Boston has, as of today, Boston has won the last two games in the series. Now, I still think Miami is probably going to win it. But if this goes to a game 7, I think Boston got it.
If this goes to a game 7, you think it's making 7?
Well, I think Miami should win the next game. But if they don't,
oh boy,
they're gonna lose.
Yeah, I think yeah. Might be some history in the making.
Either way, this is wild. This is wild. I think the Celtics were slapped pretty hard in the face. And I think with every game that they win, their confidence is going to build. I feel like they're the better team.
There's no doubt they're the better team. But
right.
They just haven't been playing like they wanted. Like seriously, they're getting out hustled. And not for nothing, they've really been getting out coached. Spoelstra is dancing circles around what's his name?
Why do you do this, Damian? Because I'm horrible with names.
Because I'm horrible with names.
Because I'm horrible with names.
Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horrible with names. Because I'm horri And as soon as you start to say it, you'll say the first letter, and it'll come back to me. Mo.
It's Missoula.
Zula. See, that was on the tip of my tongue.
Coach Joe Missoula.
He's a rookie coach. He's had a great year. The playoffs are a different animal, and he is getting schooled. He's learning.
He's learning on the job.
On the job.
And it's not his fault. Considering everything that happened and they hired him, this should have been somewhat expected.
Yeah. I mean, not for nothing. Spo probably could have been coach of the year this year. I mean,
no, he's coach of the playoffs, but in the year they barely made it. So, they judge these things on what your team does throughout the season. So, they were in the play-in tournament.
He has a lot of experience. He's
right.
been coaching for a long time. He's got championship experience. He's got playoff experience. If you just look at like how he changed the personnel, Love played a decent amount against the Knicks, and we've hardly seen him in this series at all. So he knows what personnel he knows. He's figured out a way to beat Boston, and I think they want to wrap it up in Miami.
It's been a perfect storm actually for Miami, right? So, Milwaukee, I felt like they were a little bit out of sorts, right?
Yeah.
They got a Knick team now and a bad coach, and then they face a Knick team that's on the up and comings, right? The Knicks they're in a rebuilding process and they're starting to ascend. Mm-hmm. So caught them at the right time, and then now they go into Boston, and Tatum and Jaylen Brown are putting up stinkers in the fourth quarter. The games are close right up until that point, and then bam, Miami is going crazy. Jimmy Butler is playing the best basketball. And oddly enough, with Tyler Hero not playing, Oladipo not playing, the injury that it just had in the last game, it just seems like their effort has increased because of all of these factors.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be taking these teams by surprise. And that's why if I was Miami, I would be fearful going into the next game with Boston having this kind of momentum now. Because if they manage to win 3 games in a row and forces to a game 7 in Boston, I just don't know how Miami overcomes that.
I think Boston has the worst home record in the playoffs. In the entire playoffs.
It wasn't the worst. It was clearly Golden State.
In the playoffs? Yeah. I know Golden State had the worst in the season.
They were like, in the playoffs. In the playoffs. Okay, yeah. Well, that's probably because of their losses to Miami too. But I don't put too much weight in that because as you get further into the playoffs, you're likely going to gather more losses than the people who got knocked out in the first round. So, I guess, but
I think it might have been like the worst in history, actually, in the playoffs.
I still think that you force this to a game 7 at home, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough way.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. The game 6 in Miami is gonna be rough. It's not gonna be a blowout. It ain't gonna be a laydown. But
Miami have to come in with the same desperation they came in, during the play-in tournament, and in that first round against Milwaukee. They played every game against Milwaukee like it was their last game, so they have to do the same thing. Jimmy Butler has to be playoff Jimmy Butler.
But they have to. Oh, what's his name, man? Look. If this is episode 32, if y'all don't know by now, I'm horrible with names. Horrible with names. I know who I'm thinking of. I know you don't. The guy who just missed the game, he has to play game 6.
Gabe Vincent.
He has to play. If he doesn't play, I don't see it happening. Butler's gonna have to put up a 50-point game.
He's their third leading scorer. Usually, you can get another role player on the team to match that. But the problem is that they already have injuries. I think Tyler Hero may come back.
Really?
Yeah, there's been speculation that he's been ready to come back. And today he was practicing. He just hasn't had a full contact practice. That's why he didn't play.
I wonder how that would throw off, if that throws off the chemistry, though, because he's been out for a while.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's already had, I think, a couple of practices. So, but yeah.
Yo, if he comes back, if he plays game 6, just the crowd will go crazy.
Yeah, even if they get him in there off the bench for a little bit,
just for a few minutes. Oh my God.
That'll be, but you run the risk of, we saw what happened to KD in Golden State a couple of years ago, right? It's
different though. That was a ligament.
It's different. Yeah. It's different. Yeah. And that was a major injury, but I think teams got to be careful. They got to protect the players, but if this was in the 90s, this would be a no question. He'd be playing, right?
He'd have been playing already if this was in the 90s with a cast on his hand.
Yeah, wrap it up and let's go.
Let's go.
So yeah, that's interesting. That series turned out to be, for me, the more exciting series was Denver and LA. But
exciting?
Oh yeah, I was totally enthralled with that series. I'm a Jokic fan, and I think Jamal Murray is box office, man.
Oh, Jamal Murray is something special.
And then Anthony Davis, when he's healthy, he's really incredible. And LeBron James is still a top 10, 15, player in the league. I mean, he's still a top guy. So, when you look at that matchup, how could you not want to watch it, right? It's a great matchup. The better players definitely were on the West Side than on East Coast, for that series, in my opinion.
East Coast.
Your top players was Jokic, Murray, LeBron, AD in that series. And then in the East Coast series, the Miami Heat and the Celtics, you have Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, and Tyler Hero or Adebayo. You know what I'm saying? So I was saying that's why I was more excited for it, because the players on that side.
I got you.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of the Lakers, might as well go there.
We have to address this damn rumor. So there's a few of them. Obviously, the Kyrie Irving going to LA has been a rumor since
he was on year. Dallas. Right. Before then.
Yeah. But the big rumor now is that LeBron James might be going to the Golden State Warriors. Now, just to throw a little context in there. So it's been several times now in the last 2 years that LeBron James has made statements that he wants to play with Steph Curry.
Yes.
They asked Steph Curry and he was like, nah, I'm good.
Right.
That was a couple of years ago, though. Then they played in the All-Star game together when Steph went crazy and had like 17 threes or whatever and took the MVP, right? And they were gushing over each other. Like, you could tell, like, they were just, I felt like at the time they were just like, yo, the rivalry is done, and now we're just competitors that respect one another. And I think that's where they're at. Even in this last series, they were joking with each other. You see them in the sidelines laughing, covering their mouth, talking. So, it wasn't anything like serious. So now LeBron, at the end of the Lakers Nugget series, he questions basically whether he's going to play ball anymore.
Yeah.
And he's kind of throwing digs at the team. And I don't like that about LeBron. I don't like that about LeBron.
He threw digs at the team?
Yeah, he was almost kind of suggesting that they're not good enough, because when they were asking him, he's like, I'm not happy that we made it here. I'm in this for championships. You know, and so the suggestion was basically, we don't have the talent to do this, but I'm only here for a title. So the suggestion was that people were speculating, is that LeBron is basically telling Pelinka,
office. Yeah.
you better get more fuckers in here or I'm gone. Right.
Of course.
So, so then this report comes out. I don't know exactly how credible the source was or whatever, but it's all over the news today, last couple of days, that LeBron James could be traded to the Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, and Jonathan Kuminga.
As much as I would hate to see Wiggins go, that's not a bad trade for the Lakers. That's a good team.
You said for the Lakers.
For the Lakers. It's not a bad trade.
Oh Lord. What you just did, just if you're not aware of this, if you were like on a first take or something, that would have been the most blasphemous comment, because they always have to talk about LeBron, right? So I would agree that would be amazing for the Lakers. So if you're a Laker fan, and a lot of Lakers fans, they're not too happy with LeBron. You know what I'm saying? He's not he doesn't bleed the, purple and gold, right?
Right.
But Kobe is their guy, Magic is their guy, Shaq is their guy, Kareem is their guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's not in that class.
Right. And I think it's for shit like this, right? It's because if there's a better opportunity for LeBron, he's gonna go. Right. And I think they understand that, right? So LeBron going to the Warriors.
Disgusting.
What?
Disgusting.
So here's the deal. I think it does make them contenders.
Who?
Right? The Warriors.
Of course.
Makes them contenders.
As long as they are able to keep Clay and Draymond.
Yeah, and as long as they're able to stay healthy.
Right.
Because now we're talking 4 older guys on the team. And the way they play Looney, he might as well be an older guy too. Even though he's Mr. Iron Man, like he's played every game, I think the last 2 seasons or whatever. But here's my thinking. So I had this debate with my nephew, and this is where this is gonna go, because he was basically saying that the Warriors would not be contenders with LeBron James.
Well, there would be some concern, because what does that mean for their bench?
Well, okay, so I said if the Warriors lose 3 players to get 1, that means they have to get 2 more players. So,
but can they afford valuable players?
They need probably somebody who can go in there and give them 10 and 10. Somebody with long arms, some height, some strength, and that's a dime a dozen in the league. They can find somebody like that. It doesn't have to be. Remember, their culture, they take players that are on the brink of being out of the league, and they usually get them to a place where they know their role, they play their role really well. So think about Kevon Looney, right? Think about DiVincenzo this year. Think about Gary Payton. He was out of the league. He was asking, I don't know if you noticed, he was asking to be a videographer for the team when they waived him. When they were about to waive him. And they were like, yo, like, we're bringing you on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been doing great for us.
I thought that was like originally before they first got him.
No, when they first signed him to like a 10-day contract. After like the 10-day contract, they extended it. I think they gave him another one. And then he knew that he was going to be waived. And he thought he was going to be waived. And then that's when they gave him like the extension for the year. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not talking about when he came back.
No.
About the first. Yeah.
That was like the first time. Yeah. Right. So, and I could have botched that history a little bit, but that was definitely clearly before he was traded to Portland.
Yes, that's what I thought you were saying the opposite initially. So that's what I was saying. Yeah, the first.
No,
time.
So they bring their players. Like they bring players. They have this uncanny ability to find talent in the league that is not being used, and they foster that talent. And those people usually come through for them. Take a look at Andrew Wiggins, a guy who people thought was shot. Was the worst number 1 pick ever. And look at what he did last year.
It took him some time, but oh boy.
Jordan Poole was in the G League, going to the G League, and look at where he ended up. So I'm not worried about them adding pieces.
Here's a little wrinkle. Purely speculation, but I saw Julius Randle for AD. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett for AD. I don't like it. I don't like it as a Knicks fan. But
if the Lakers would have won the whole thing with AD being their top leader on that team, a top scorer or whatever, I wouldn't want him on my team because I'm so scared of his injury.
Unreliable.
He's too expensive for what you're gonna get. That's like buying a Porsche that's a lemon. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, like you can't really depend on him. Yeah, sure. When he works,
when he plays, he's
good.
But
when he's not, you know, when them legs or whatever, they're you know, they're not working. You ever watch him like on the court? He looks like he's in pain all the time. The way he runs up and down the court, he looks like, you know, like Uncle Gus and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he just
one of the old timers.
Yeah, you know, that's I hate to say that about him, but that's the impression I get. Now this year, he had his moments where you were just like, whoa, he is the best player in the league. Maybe, I mean, best player in the Lakers, maybe top 5 in the league. You know, there were instances where he showed that. And then there were other instances where, you know, he was taken out on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know, and
I hope to never see him in the orange and blue.
So that wouldn't be good. But back to the conversation here. I don't want to see this trade. I think that it would make them contenders, but I think they have better options.
I think it's unlikely, honestly.
I think it's unlikely, but tell me, how many people? Let's just think about it this way: if you were the Warriors, right?
Yeah. If I'm the Warriors,
from the Warriors' perspective, fans, no. I'm talking the organization.
Mm-hmm.
They had great success with KD. They had great success without any other superstars other than Steph and Clay, who they drafted. If they're able to win a championship with LeBron, the common denominator there is Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Clay. It's the core. You can add that outside assassin, that outside player, and bam, they go from great to better than everyone else.
Each of those years they won, they had a deep bench.
They had a deep bench, but they didn't need a deep bench.
Okay.
Damon, I try to say this to you before. Was it that their bench was really deep, or is that their bench knew their role? And the players around them are just so good that all you got to do is focus on your role. And you got a good spot. Wiggins, I keep bringing up Wiggins, but he's a guy that he wasn't comfortable being the number one. Right. Not really even being the number 2 so much. But you put him now in a system with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and whoever. And
it's almost no pressure playing with those guys because, you know, if you fucking up, they're going to go get the buckets anyway. So
now just imagine that with LeBron James. Imagine that with fucking LeBron James. Now, I think that they would have a lot more hurdles.
See, the reason why I'm look, LeBron is LeBron, but if I'm in the front office, I'm also thinking beyond LeBron, right? Because I'm giving up Wiggins, who still has many years to play. Poole, he's probably gone anyway, but I'm gonna you can get a lot from him anywhere. I have an idea. And then who was the third one? Kuminga. Man.
Kuminga's going to average 20 plus points or more on another team.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So for the next couple of years, they're gonna want contenders on there. Their bench this year, they hardly played Kuminga in the playoffs. He got nothing but junk minutes. He didn't play any serious role at any time. Steve Kerr historically doesn't like younger players in the playoffs. Poole's an anomaly last year, but even this year he barely played Poole. He looks for more mature type players. That's why. But I think let me just make the point that I was making from the Warriors' point of view, the organization. It's a fucking money generator to have the two most iconic basketball players in the last 10 years in the league be on the same team.
I hear you, but I mean, they're sold out every game anyway. You can't sell out more than that.
The TV ratings, the jersey sales, the price gouging they're going to put on those tickets.
The price for those tickets would definitely go up. That's a fact.
Even if they did it, even if LeBron played with them for a year or two, what that money would look like?
It's disgusting. No, you're right. You're right. Here's an idea, which I would
fucking hate it, but I understand where the thought process would be. But here's an idea.
Julius Randle to the Warriors.
You always somehow reverse to the Knicks.
Well,
because they're not in the news now, but
no, yeah, okay. It's not about the Knicks. It's there's a lot of talk about moving him, right?
You as a Knicks fan, you want him gone, right? I want him gone.
I'm mixed, but yeah, I'd be okay with it if we got the right part. We need another big, in my opinion. I like Mitchell Robinson, but I think he could use another big next to him. He'd be even more dominant. So maybe Kuminga.
I would not want Randle on the Warriors.
Why not?
I don't think he fits with them at all, and he's clumsy.
I don't know, man.
I don't.
He's got the size. He can post up. He can shoot the three. He just is. He's got a mental block, a mental issue. The talent is there.
Look, you know who I want to see the Warriors go for?
Imagine him coached by Kerr. Maybe he's got the fix.
Maybe. You know what I want to see with the Warriors? I want to see, and this is a pipe dream. Giannis is a pipe dream. Right? But I definitely would love to see that. But outside of Giannis, you know who I want to see? I want to see Karl Anthony Towns. I want to see Cat on the fucking Warriors.
That's not bad.
You put him on that. He's probably the best three-point shooting big in the league, right?
Yeah.
And you put him in the right system where he's not the first go-to guy. Maybe not even the second guy. He's going to drop 35 points, 18 rebounds in a game here and there. That's what he's going to do for you. You know what I'm saying? Occasionally. And then the games that he'll give you a solid, 20 points, 10, 11 rebounds, a block or whatever.
I know you're going to say I'm fanning out, but there has also been rumors of him going to New York as well.
He would fit. That's the thing. He would fit on so many teams. He would definitely fit on the Knicks.
I think the Knicks would be better for him than Golden State. I think Golden State, obviously, they win, right? He'll get a ring. But I think as far as his career and his stats in the Knicks,
I don't think he goes anywhere and better and he's better suited than being on the Warriors. As far as
I just think he'd be the third option.
Look, if he goes to the Knicks, I'll play this hypothetical with you.
He's second option.
If he goes to the Knicks. I think next year they'll be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And depending on what the landscape is, they may even come out. So I would say, yeah, he has the potential to really change that franchise. Even more so, I think, than Dame Lillard, because I think if you put Dame with Brunson, that might look a little weird. It might take some adjusting.
Yeah.
And it might not last.
Cat makes a difference because he can be that dominant force in the paint, and he can also spread the floor.
Yeah.
Huge. That would be huge.
I don't know if he understands how valuable he could be to a team. So anyway, that is going to be it, I think, for our NBA coverage. But I do want to mention the John Morant thing.
Yes.
So John Morant recently posted a picture on I believe it was it Instagram, on social media or whatever, and it was just a photo of him saying bye.
Well, before that, there were like 3 or 4 other cryptic posts to his daughter and his mom and dad. And then the last one, it said, "Love you, Ma. Love you, Pops. You're the greatest, baby girl. Love you. Bye. Stay strong, Ja." And then praying hands. So scared a few people.
Stephen A. Smith on his podcast, I watched a segment on it, and man, it was powerful. You know, he talked about Kevin Garnett and some of the stuff Kevin Garnett has said, and you know how he talked about, like, you know, how critical he is, but how Allen Iverson had reached out to him and said that he wants Stephen A. to personally try to help Ja, and Stephen A. is like, well, why don't you do it? Because, you know, you would think AI would be the perfect person to talk to him,
Definitely.
right? And Allen Iverson basically said, was like, yo, like, I can't put the words together like you, man. You know, like, you gotta really, you know, I'll tell you what to say, but you know, basically, you know, he's
or
just
the two of them together,
right?
Because if anybody could relate, you know, it's AI,
right? So I know that the cops showed up, and they did a wellness check,
right.
And according to what I read, or he said that he was fine. He was just taking a break from social media.
Right.
Now, I hate to be this guy. I hate to be this guy, and I'm going to say why. I don't want to give off the impression that I'm being insensitive, but this could just be a ploy for attention. Maybe if he comes out this way, the league might look at him and feel bad for him or whatever.
Make it look
be a
like
little
he's
bit more lenient,
troubled instead of misbehaving.
Right. But on the flip, typically when people say things like that, it's a cry for help, because they are seeking the attention, because they do need the help. So I don't want to discount it at all, but I would hope and pray that this isn't some calculated, you know, plan, you know, devised to kind of soften his image and get a little bit of sympathy, you know, thrown his way.
Yeah, it's very plausible.
I just want to say I don't think that's what's happening, but in this day and age, I don't put nothing past anyone who's got agents and handlers, and there's millions of dollars at stake.
Yeah, I'll just say we'll see, I guess. More to come.
You know, that's not what we do at Clearly Distorted, Damian. You have to give some sort of distorted fucking feedback on that.
I mean, you kind of stomped on it with, you know, now no matter whatever I say, I'm gonna beat it back.
I gently walked on eggshells. I didn't stomp on anything. I was nice and neat about it.
I think Josh's fine.
So were you thinking this before I brought it up too?
Yes.
Don't you hate me and that dude?
Well, I mean,
who wants to see the worst in people?
I'm not necessarily saying it's a ploy, but you know, it could be like you said, but sometimes people will do things searching a reaction, but not anticipating the reaction that they actually get. So he could have been looking for something, but it might have gotten more than what he, you know, initially thought would come. So
it's already worked. There's a narrative now has changed.
Is he okay?
Totally.
Yeah,
Not Jaws a fucking idiot. Like I was saying in the last podcast, I'm like, he's a dumb jock. He's stupid, and you're like, slow down there, right?
Don't look so dumb anymore, does he?
Right. Stupid is as stupid does, right? So that's like my mentality about it. It's just like, don't do stupid shit and nobody will look at you as stupid. But anyway, now the narrative has changed. Now it's, oh man, this guy got a lot of shit on his shoulders. Are we treating him right? Are we fair to his situation?
I see, but it's hard for me to even to see it that way, because the truth is, if he never bounced the ball again, I'm sure he would miss the sport. It's been his entire life, but he will live the rest of his life very comfortably and unbothered. That's the truth. So it's hard to kind of have that level of sympathy.
I don't know how much I co-sign with that thought process, but I understand it. So yeah.
I hope he's well.
So do I. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I couldn't come up here and talk about this and not discuss the other possibility that obviously people in the major news media will never say because they just won't, but it is a possibility that this is a little manufactured sadness, depression. I don't know.
Music and movie recommendations.
Oh boy.
Well, it's a dry week in hip hop, so nothing new dropping that is worthy of me speaking about anyway. So just got the Wu-Tang song of the week.
Boom, boom.
Still on Only Built for Cuban Links. And the song is Guillotine.
That is one of
the hardest beats too.
Yeah.
Poisonous paragraph, smash your phonograph
in half. Inspect the deck on the warpath. Of course, he sparks it, right?
Yeah.
And then they sample one of my favorite kung fu films, Shaolin versus Lama. Shout out to Kick 718 if you're watching. That's our joint. But anyway, yeah. Love that song, love that album. Only Built for Cuban Links. Great choice. I've been hoping you were gonna pick that one.
Here it is. Man, I think damn. I was hoping to have this album done for the break, but we still got a few more smashes on there.
Yeah. Nice water. Anyway. Anyways.
Two Wu-Tang songs of the week. There you go. That'll hold you over. Guillotine and Ice Water.
All right, yeah. So
that should
check
wrap it
out
up.
the Rat Kingpin, Black Jesus. That's a great one too. That's a hard beat too. That beat is hard, man. Anyway, I got some recommendations and I got one to avoid.
Okay.
So, what do you want first? The one to totally fucking avoid or the recommendations?
The recommendations.
So, first recommendation is Bitchin', the sound and fury of Rick James. It's playing on Showtime. Showtime anytime. You can stream it.
This is new
right now. 2021.
Okay. I missed that.
Oh my gosh. So you're gonna walk out of it. We all know who Rick James is, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know his reputation. And we know the Chappelle skit, and we know we know all of that. But there's so much more to the man. And like with most people who are famous, there's usually a lot more to them than what the public persona is.
Of course.
But I was surprised in a lot of ways how much, I'm not going to say how much influence, that didn't surprise me because I know most of his, music, as far as like some of the things he was attached to an artist, but he doesn't usually get the credit like a Prince would get, or like a Michael Jackson would get. He's there, but when you realize that he was in Motown during, like he would do songs and, he would be seeing the Supremes and the Temptations in Motown, and Stevie Wonder, and you realize that he was there at that time, kind of, moving around. And, I don't want to spoil too much, but, then there was some issues with the draft and all kinds of things that happened to him, and what a free spirit he was, and just his story. And, obviously his issues with women and drugs. Man, what a life. And what a story. So check it out. It's called Bitchin', The Sound and Fury of Rick James, on Showtime. I loved it.
Shout out
the
Rochester,
next one,
New York.
Yes. In fact, they have one of our rappers that we like, Conway. He talks about him, the hood in there and everything. So it's pretty relatable. So it's dope. But anyway, so now I'm gonna go into the documentary that I'm not recommending before I go into the one I'm recommending, because the one I'm gonna recommend is a replacement for that one.
Okay.
So the one I'm not recommending, and I'm going to explain to you why, it's called Jared from Subway, Catching a Monster. So you remember Jared.
Of course, the Subway guy.
Subway guy, right? Everyone remembers him, and you know what happened to him, right?
Yeah, he was a nasty guy.
He was a pedophile.
Like little boys.
And girls.
Kids.
And kids, yeah. And he was really slimy. So the reason why I'm not recommending this documentary is because I'm watching it, and more than half of it is this woman telling the story about how she was trying to catch him the whole time. And I could not relate to anything about this woman at all. She was one out of her league as far as her playing detective. She was stupid. She couldn't understand what she was doing. And I'm going to go into a little bit of detail. Why not? Because I'm recommending you not to see it. So fuck the spoilers. But just in case you want to see it, I'm going to give you spoilers. So basically,
spoiler alert.
Yeah. So basically, she had an encounter with him. She was supposed to interview him or whatever. And before the interview, they were at a school, and he whispers to her that he thinks teenage girls are hot. So from that moment on, she had been trying to catch him. So she ends up building this relationship with him, and they got close, and she started recording illegally his phone conversations. And he's there admitting all this stuff, and she's playing along with it. Now, in Florida,
into it too.
Like, she's into it. And in Florida, that's illegal, right? You can't just record someone's phone conversations unknowingly, right?
Right.
You have to get consent. So she's basically entrapping him, right? She's luring him by basically doing all of this stuff. And the way she would describe things, and what he said next to me blackened my soul. I was like, bitch, stop. Like, stop. Like, I could not, like, I just, me and Tanisha and my son Joey, we were watching it, and we were just, and my nephew too, and we were just like vomiting. This lady was just so whack, right? Then the editing was terrible, and they did weird things, like when they would have the cop talk, right before the cop would talk, they would do like slow motion montages of him walking. Shit was the cheesiest shit like I've ever fucking seen. And then the real tragic story was actually someone else involved that they kind of touched on. And it bothered me because...
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended at all. Because, it was really serious shit. And the whole thing was just terribly put together. The woman looked like an actress like a low budget actress describing, you know, like you ever watch like those documentaries where they do like a dramatization of like the real thing, and it usually looks terrible and sounds terrible. That's like the vibe I was getting from her, but she was actually the real person. She did fake crying throughout it too. She'd be like, I'm sorry, and she would cover her face, and it was just the worst. I couldn't deal with it. And I'm an empath, so you know, like when I saw this, I was just like, I don't feel nothing because
it's fake.
It's fake. Her emotions were fake. So actually, after she goes through all of this, and I'm going to tell you guys pretty something disturbing. So in one of the conversations she's having with Jared, you got to open your eyes for this one, Dane.
I don't know if I want to close my ears.
So she has 2 kids, a son and a daughter. They're like, 10 years old or whatever. And I guess Jared had got tired of her kind of stringing him along, right? So according to her, the FBI, they were set up to do like a sting operation. So they were luring him to her house for her son's birthday party. So she's using her kid's birthday party as a bait to catch fucking Jared in some act or whatever. Right after she's talked to him about them molesting kids together, kids from Thailand and shit. So they're having this conversation and it fell through. Dang, bro. Come on, man.
I got you.
Please. Okay. So it fell through, right? They couldn't work it out. And I guess Jared had that one like close to final conversation with her afterwards, and he tells her, get this, I want you to send me naked pictures of either your son or your daughter. Can you do that?
I don't even understand how this guy's still living.
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
And when I like saw her react, and by the way, they wouldn't play like her real full reaction. So I'm inclined to believe that she probably told him, yeah, but they wouldn't, like, they were doing things where it looked like she was going to be like breaking a law, but they would always cut it. It was just awful. Like, I hated the whole fucking thing. So avoid it if you can. It's a waste of your time. Just go and, watch like news articles or something if you're interested, but this isn't worth it. So the replacement to that is a similar concept, right? Because Jared, technically speaking, there was no proof that he ever actually raped or molested anyone.
Right, but they found a bunch of shit on his computer.
Porn and everything, right. So, but there's this great documentary a couple of years back, and I don't know where it's streaming now, but check it out. It's called Thought Crimes, the case of the cannibal cop.
Oh.
So it was about a police officer who never broke any kind of laws or anything, but he would go on these chats and fantasize about killing and eating women. So the idea is, and thought crimes, right? So is he guilty of a crime as being a police officer because he used his ability to look up people and he was role playing that he was going to kill certain people or whatever. And it actually follows him in his story. And it's pretty interesting. So it's called Thought Crimes, the case of the cannibal cop, and Bitchin', the sound and fury of Rick James. Check them out. Dope documentaries. Anyway, yeah, that is going to do it for me. I am out of here, Dame, but you still got work to do with Patricia. So
yes,
this will be the last episode until July. So thank you all. These what episode is this now? This is 32. 32. This has been absolutely amazing and fun.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we're getting more support, slowly but surely, but we're getting there, we're improving, and look forward to more. So I know you're probably gonna have to do this again with Patricia, so I'll just leave it there for me. Peace, guys.
This coming Monday is Memorial Day, which will be today when you all are seeing this, assuming you see it on the day that it drops. We drop on Mondays. Monday's Memorial Day. So as a veteran, it's a very hard day for me. And it's because people frequently misunderstand what Memorial Day is about. I will get thank you for your services on my timeline and, you know, all kind of shit. And, you know, you have to juggle with, do you just say thank you and shrug it off? Or do you come across as rude and trying to correct someone and making them feel stupid? So I thought this would be a good opportunity just to briefly go over what Memorial Day is and how it's different from Veterans Day. And, you know, a lot of us, it's just a day off of work, a reason to go to the beach and a reason to barbecue. Yeah. So, Memorial Day, of course, it's an American holiday. It's observed on the last Monday of May, and it's honoring men and women who died serving the U.S. military. So this Memorial Day memorial is specifically for those who died in war, men or women. End of story.
I mean, the word itself, it's kind of self-explanatory. Memorial, remembrance.
Yeah, but people just attach it to military, and then that's it. So I'm telling you, for the last 23 years of my life, this has been an ongoing confusion for people. And I'm sure it's been, you know, a lot longer than that.
I mean, what do you say? What do you say when they're like, oh, thank you for your service?
For a long time, I just thank you.
I mean, I would say, oh, thank you, but, you know, this is da-da-da-da-da.
I started correcting it. Like if someone sent me something on social media, then I started correcting it so that other people could see it and hopefully learn. But for most of it, I've just thanks, whatever.
So on Monday, can I just say thank you for your service on your social media?
I'm gonna send you a link of the podcast for you to watch it and learn. And that's what I'm gonna do this Memorial Day. Everyone that says it, I'm gonna attach the link to this podcast so you can watch it and learn. So anyway, it was originally known or called Decoration Day, and it originated in the years following the Civil War, and became an official federal holiday not until 1971. Records show that Memorial Day was organized by a group of former slaves in Charleston, South Carolina.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then the federal government declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day, because they had this whole thing that this town made a whole big deal out of this holiday. So, you know, they already had the community-wide events, businesses closed, you know, everyone was decorating in this town or whatever. So they made this the example of what they wanted Memorial Day to be. Flags everywhere, flowers, all of that good stuff. So yeah, it was.
I wonder how that translated into Beach Day though, because
in 1971, when it became a federal holiday, people got the day off of work.
I know,
Schools
but
were
it's
closed, and what the fuck? It's May. It's beautiful, right? No matter where in the U.S., this is when the weather changes, and fuck it, let's take advantage of the day off. And
yeah, I guess, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I nothing about it's really weird because, like, what do you happy Memorial Day? Like, what do you say? This is a somber event that it's, you know, not very celebratory.
I know. So, but to me, this is
weird.
But to me, this is more celebrated, meaning like holiday wise, like going to the beach, barbecuing, whatever, than even Veterans Day. So that's why I was thinking, like, how is it that Memorial?
You think so?
Listen.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You don't hear people say, let's get together for Veterans Day weekend.
Right.
You hear people say, let's go do something Memorial Day weekend. Like Memorial Day, when you even say Memorial Day, is just like party time.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that's about, but you're 100%.
So I'm wondering, what is it about this holiday that it's like the designated almost start of the summer party?
I think that's it. It might have to do with the timing.
Yeah.
Because it's in May. If you're up north right now, so this comes from Waterloo, right? Waterloo, New York. May is probably when the weather is just nice enough to put some shorts on.
Like here. Yeah.
In Turkey, you're saying.
Weather-wise, yeah.
Because here in Florida, it's been cooking for a while.
We have Monday off, and our Americans friend, like my American friends, were like, "Oh wow, Turkey's celebrating Memorial Day because the kids are not in school Monday, but it's because of the elections." But yeah, the weather, maybe is that most of the country, it's going into nice weather right now.
I'm sure that it has to be. I mean, because there's no other correlation then just being
it just hit me right now that I chose to go to Puerto Rico in July, for the month of July, the hottest month of the freaking year.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll be cooking myself. Yeah.
Well, that's about all we got. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. I got to go basketball for a quick second. Something Yay! Julie and I forgot to talk about. Carmelo Anthony, one of my favorite basketball players of all time.
Did he get divorced?
He retired from basketball on Monday, I think it was. Anyway. He retired. Long career, one of the greatest players to ever play, 9th on the all-time scoring list, one of the greatest scorers that we have ever seen in the history of basketball. Was a Syracuse Orangeman, won a championship in college, won several gold medals in the Olympics, and a couple silvers and a bronze, I think, as well. Anyway, he deserves a proper send-off. So congratulations to Carmelo Anthony.
Well, I know Carmelo Anthony. I did not know that you were a fan. I would have hooked you up some way or the other.
Really? You're full of shit.
I am full of shit, but
I believed you for like a half a second, and then I saw it in your face. I said, she's bullshit. And I know this woman.
But I'm friends with Lala's cousin.
Okay.
So technically,
Carmelo Anthony.
Almost cousins. Listen.
That's how y'all Puerto Ricans operate.
And cousins, for sure. Yeah. I forgot that he's like what, half Puerto Rican?
Half Puerto Rican, yeah.
His dad, my dad's cousin? Very possible. But seriously, my friends is cousins with Lala, and she's changed a lot physically. Mashallah. She's almost like a Kim Kardashian butt. Oh, you were speaking about basketball. I have a topic about basketball that I came across on social media somehow.
Oh boy.
So about LeBron James.
Okay.
So I saw that LeBron James' wife, her name is Savannah. I actually literally was watching the video yesterday. Apparently she's really upset at Kim Kardashian because Kim Kardashian was at a Lakers game, because I guess her brother-in-law is playing there.
Her former brother-in-law, yeah.
Former, I don't know. But anyways, she posted a picture. Did you read about this?
Absolutely not.
It has to do with basketball.
No, it doesn't.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay.
So she had a bag, a purse, and you have to look at my demonstration. So she has the purse, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a purse like this, and you can see through the middle, and it's a Lakers purse. It says Lakers or whatever. And she takes the picture, but in the center of it, she's taking a picture of LeBron, right? And he's giving her the most bombastic side-eye, right?
Bombastic.
Side-eye. Like he's like serious, and like he looks mad. And she posted on her social media, And I guess she did like a quick quote, and then she deleted it because a lot of people were coming for her saying, you know, he's married and this and that. You don't do that to a married man, this and that and the other. You see, I know about basketball.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks for adding to the NBA segment. Kim Kardashian took a picture of LeBron through her Lakers purse.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't well received by him, I guess, and by his wife, I guess, and by a lot of people. They I guess they were saying don't post. I didn't know that he was married to his high school sweetheart, and they have like all these kids, and their marriage is super strong and very respected. And actually, I learned from him, besides the only thing I know about LeBron is that he's a crybaby. And his hairline has miraculously come forward. But anyways, but they have a really strong, solid marriage. Apparently, he is one of the basketball players that you never hear rumors of him stepping outside of his marriage, and he's very charitable and all this stuff. And so they came for her because she was just like, I'm posting like cute little quotes, and they did not like that at all.
Listen, I'm not a very big fan of LeBron James as a basketball player, but off the court, the man is to be revered tremendously. Yeah.
So they did not like, they're like, don't post pictures of him like this. It's not cute. He's married. Respect his wife. And I was like, oh, I got to talk about this in the podcast because I'm going to bring Kim Kardashian one way or the other.
I'm actually glad to hear that, actually. Yep.
Yeah. So she ended up deleting the picture, which she generally doesn't delete pictures, apparently. But the video said that they said that the wife called her the video, but they said a source. And you know how sources can just be made up.
Anyway, I think it's time for the part of the podcast that I hate the most, but we must do it. We got to say goodbye to Tina Turner. Died at 83 years old. The queen of rock and roll. Apparently, she had been suffering for some illnesses for a while, cancer among other things. So.
And she had I think the latest thing that she had was a kidney transplant that she was not fully recovered from.
I think that happened first
than the cancer
years ago. Yeah, she had the transplant and wasn't taking care of it the way she should have. And then since then she's been battling all kind of illnesses. So but Tina Turner, like I said, is often referred to as the queen of rock and roll. Hundreds of millions of records, over 100 million records sold, 12 Grammys, hit songs. The first one I think about is What's Love Got to Do with It?
Got to Do.
Everybody knows that song. Private Dancer, Dancing for Money.
I remember being in Puerto Rico, growing up, watching Tina Turner, and all I wanted was her hair.
Hair?
All her hair.
I thought you were going to say
all
her
I
legs.
wanted. No. I was young. I wasn't thinking about sexy legs or anything. All I wanted was that cool ass hair, the hair color, the haircut, the hairstyle, how she would just go like this. And it was just like, I love Tina Turner. And how she came out from that domestic abusive relationship and she restarted her life in her 40s.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you. I mean, she gave us everything.
Yeah.
She gave us everything. And like a lot of people refer her to the queen of rock and roll and the sexiest legs and all this stuff. But when I think about Tina Turner, I just think like the best example of a survivor, like really turning things from an abusive life and she sprung in her 40s or and she conquered so much. She didn't let that pain, at least publicly, she didn't let that pain consume her, and she became one of the most influential people in my life. So
she's an icon.
when I think When I think about Tina, of course I think about what Love's got to do, and I think about her hair, and then I think about what she went through, and then I think about her legs. She did have killer legs. She did.
Yeah, she definitely had an amazing life, and
like when these people, like these people that are icons, when they pass away, like I'm thinking we're almost at the end of losing every great icon.
I was saying that I don't know who I was talking to, but yeah, we're it might have been Julian. It might have been with Julian. Um, we're losing these greats, and like you said,
There's
eventually
nobody to replace.
we don't, because like we don't have from our generation. Like eventually, that's scary.
Who's gonna be Cardi B?
Well, I mean, and seriously, that this that thought process is kind of why I felt the way I felt about Jamie Foxx, because he is one of our greats from our generation. And
but never at the level of a Tina Turner, like Michael Jackson. I just don't think we'll ever see something like that again.
Right. No, you're right about that.
I think, who do we have left? Madonna. She was super iconic, even though she's batshit crazy right now and she looks like an alien from the front and the back. Why you laugh?
Sorry.
Have you seen her butt?
I can't tell you the last time I seen Madonna at all. Sorry.
Well, you won't recognize her. But yeah, so when I saw that Tina Turner died, I'm like, damn.
Man, it hurt.
Just like one more that, that's gone. I don't know.
Did you know that she's the only female artist to have won a Grammy in pop, rock, and R&B? And
wow, no.
I mean, the list of her awards literally is like this long. It's like a full sheet of paper, like all her accomplishments. The first this, the first that, it's endless. So she certainly is an icon of the highest ranks. And we've seen a lot about her life. We've seen the movies, the memes and all of this stuff. But I think we'll probably see more. It's probably more of her life, more stories.
Yeah, more stories.
Yeah.
But first of all, she was doing it right, living in Switzerland.
Yeah.
I didn't know she lived in. She passed away there. So who else is left?
I mean, we have a few, but I mean, it's getting slim. Like, yeah. I think I genuinely think in my lifetime we will probably run out of the greats. I don't even know,
because there's who. I mean, who
I'm trying to think of younger ones, right? That can, Jay-Z maybe.
I know you had to bring him up.
No, seriously.
No, seriously, yeah. Like I think female wise, maybe Beyonce. But
yes, I think so.
But it's almost not.
Doesn't feel the same.
It's almost like it's not an original. Well, we still have Cher.
Yeah, we got a few. You know why I think it's different for us, like the Beyonce and maybe even the Jay-Z, is because the ones we're talking about, we grew up watching, we idolized as kids. When these people are more of our peers.
Yeah,
they're great, but we maybe don't hold them in the same regard as we think about when we were that little kid and looking up to them and like, oh my God, so I think we still hold on to that.
Like my who was my everything when I was growing up, and I had 2 posters, not regular posters. I had my mom put the wood poster, made it into like a wood, whatever. It's like hard poster. And I had everything. And I cried whenever I saw him on TV. It was Michael Jackson.
Really?
And I still remember to this day where I was and what I was doing when I found out that Michael Jackson died. And I cried because I wanted to be Bubbles.
The monkey?
Listen, I would have taken anything. I knew I couldn't be his wife.
All right.
And I know that I don't want to be Macaulay Culkin, so I would have taken Bubbles.
This will be probably the closest I will ever get to this question, to answer of this question. But because you said you were one who took part in this, I've never understood it, and I've always wanted to. So I'm going to ask you, what is it? Or what are you feeling or experiencing that makes you look at another human and be so overwhelmed that all you can do is cry? I've never experienced that. I see it. I don't understand it. What is that about?
I don't know. Because listen, I'm super in love with my husband and I can see him and I'm not going to cry. But there's just something, there's just something. I remember when the, what was the name of the video? Oh my God, I cannot believe I'm drawing a blank.
I do it
Annie. Oh
Annie,
my gosh, where's
okay?
Julian? Yes. I wanted to be Annie. I was so in love with the way that he looked. I was like, I want him to be my husband, my boyfriend. I mean, it was just like his hair and how smooth he was. And when he went sideways, I was screaming. And it was just everything. When he was wearing the gloves and his socks and, the penny loafers, I was just in love. I was just like, I want to see him. I want to see him. I want to touch him. It was crazy. Like, I was really obsessed with Michael Jackson. And I had his 2 posters right close to my bed. And every night I'm like, good night, Michael. Oh my gosh. No, I loved Michael Jackson. So when I heard that he died, I literally felt a pain in my chest. I'm like, I can't believe it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But that's it. Not my husband, not my kids.
Just MJ.
I'm just kidding. Just MJ.
Just MJ. Man, I see these videos and people are like fucking passing out.
That would have been me. If I were to have been at the concert, I would have passed out. I would have peed myself. I would have cried. I would have fainted. Something would have happened.
Wow.
So yeah. And I don't think anybody, I don't think anyone feels like that now about artists. You don't see people passing out? You do not see that energy that you would see at a Michael Jackson concert nowhere in the world right now. Nowhere.
I stopped going to concerts. I don't know.
When you see it on televised, you just don't see all the people trying to reach over, crying. Like, no. I can't think of anyone right now that has that power.
DMX did.
I love DMX. I'm sad that he died. I love sad. DMX.
Yeah, that was very sad. It was very sad. I don't even know. I mean, we're way off topic, but sorry, Julian. It was really sad because he had struggled a lot of his life, and it appeared that he was at a point in his life where he was able to get it under control and get on the right track. And even, sometimes when you get on the right track, there's bumps.
Yeah.
And,
I remember him being interviewed in the Wendy Williams show. And he was just so, was it Wendy Williams? I remember seeing him being interviewed in a talk show. And it was so different to when he's like rapping on stage, whatever. But I remember thinking, wow, he looks sad. There's sadness in his face, and I think society tends to feel not so compassionate toward Black men, of course, but you could tell, you could tell the struggles and the sadness in his face. So
yeah, he had a very, very hard childhood and life. Since the age of, I think, like 11, his life was a struggle. 7, I think, maybe. somewhere in between that. Either way, it was way too
Like a
early.
child, as a child.
It was way too
Like a
early.
child, as a child.
Right.
Yeah.
As his life was a struggle from that point until the day he died. And that is a lot to bear.
Yeah. I don't think I have not heard one song that I did not like. His voice was very addictive. It was very I just loved his voice.
Yeah, it was unique, had a different style, but I don't know how we got there from Tina Turner.
Well, they're both dead.
Rest in peace to Tina Turner. Rest in peace to
Yeah.
DMX. That just leaves the last thing to close out the show. This is where you say,
Where's Julian? No movie. Oh, you guys did the movie recommendations.
yeah, we did that earlier today. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe.
And when you think about Florida, we know it's not the universe.
Hope that doesn't go over your head.
That's a good quote, actually. It's very fitting with
Very fitting
what's going on
for this podcast. Yeah, I thought so. Well, this was fun.
It was.
Yeah.
Now we're off on vacation.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to hit the end button. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. This has been
we'll
like,
probably just do something.
I'm
quick.
sure. I'm sure we're gonna get on at some point in the month. We'll find a day, even if it's not our normal recording day. We'll find something to talk about and shoot the shit. But episode 32 in the books. Like, share, subscribe. If you haven't seen all 31 of the other episodes, take this time to, go back and check some out. We got a bunch of episodes out there. We got a bunch of clips out there, a couple reels. So if you need something to hold you over, just start digging in the crates. And before you know it, we'll be back dropping new episodes.
And also, I want to take the time to say for the people that do watch us to leave us comments and suggestions on what would you like to see more of or less of, or ideas, or how can we entertain you without taking our clothes off?
What she said. Yeah. So please, be it in the comments or on our
social
Facebook
media
discussion page, hit us up. Let us know. We're doing too much of this, not enough of that. It's hard to come up with a plan. It's hard to identify or to put things together that you think people will like with but the idea is usually what you would like yourself. So we want to stay true to who we are, but we also want to be a place for everyone to get a break and get some entertainment as well. So we'll work on finding that balance, and we'll be back brand new. See you.
And I promise to in July bring. Oh no, is basketball finished?
Basketball will be done by July. Yes.
Well, when it starts, I'm gonna bring you all the gossip about the basketball wives.
That I'm sure there are people who are interested in that. 1000%. There's a TV show called Basketball Wives.
Oh, are you serious? I thought I was coming up with an idea.
No. Yeah, there's a TV show called Basketball Wives.
Like a reality?
A reality show, yeah.
Of current basketball wives?
Most of them are all exes. There are some that are current, but most of them are exes. They're not even all ex-basketball wives. Some of them are just ex-basketball girlfriends. And
oh,
yeah.
No, I want to bring the current basketball wives gossip.
Sure.
And a little bit more of the Kim Kardashian just for Julian and Damian.
Yeah. Anyway, episode 32 in the books. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.